Welcome back to the Brothers Grin, everyone. Me and my brother have a lot of life experiences, and we thought I'd share a story here. Have you ever had a friend that turned out someone you didn't think they were going to be, or turn out to be a convicted felon or some crazy story? Because I got one, and I'm going to share that with you all today. So it starts off back in like 2004, 2005. I was riding motorcycles. There'd be a Thursday night bike night in Sacramento, and there'd be a couple hundred of us riding out every time. I was in a unique situation where, I'm a bigger guy, I'm loud and outgoing, so I had tons of friends. I was friends with all the Asian homies, friends with all the Latino homies, and those groups of people would meet up in certain areas of Sacramento. So usually I'd go down to South Sac, pick up all my Asian homies, go up north, get all my Latino homies. We'd all meet at Jamba Juice, which is is on Arden in Sacramento, which is kind of central Sac, right next to Arden Mall when it was cracking back in the day. Well, every Thursday night, you had nuts like me out there doing wheelies and showcasing and acting crazy, but there would be 50 to 100 of us that would mash out from Arden and get on the freeways and go up to the Galleria and do fun things and just, stop by Starbucks, go to Hooters, whatever. Just huge group of guys and bikes. Well, I met this group of guys and they were super cool and we became close friends, and there was this one guy in particular, his name was JD. Well, JD was also a big black dude, about 6'4", loud, outspoken. Same kind of energy that me and you have, so me and him became real close friends and hanging out all the time. We went to Reno and partied like 30 of us one time. We all stayed at one house, Jose and Kim stayed with us and JD was there. So this guy was involved in our life, like every weekend, barbecues. We'd go over to his crib and hang out and have fun. He seemed like all around good dude, It's super funny. Everybody liked him. Well, story goes on. He had a son. He wasn't with his son's mom, but he was a real good dad, involved in his son's life. Son was always over at his family's house and stuff. I knew his brothers, knew a lot of his family at the time because we were that close, Well, anyway, time went on, I started getting in my career. I wasn't riding bikes so much. In 2008, I got in trouble for doing wheelies and running from the cops, I did 9 days in jail and a felony evasion, but got that reversed to misdemeanor, thank goodness. But that's a whole nother story. We'll get into that a different time. But what I wanted to touch on is this guy, JD. Well, years later, let's fast forward to 2020. I'm in Kentucky now, I'm 41 years old at the time. And I get a call from one of my buddies and he's like, I like to think me and you are good people, right? My buddy Eddie. And I was like, yeah, it was cool, and he's like, we don't hang around people that are garbage or murderers or rapists and stuff, right? And I'm like, nah. He goes, well, we can't say that anymore because apparently we do. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? He's like, you won't believe what just went down. And I was like, what's going on? He's all, JD got arrested. And I was like, he got arrested for what? What happened? So at this time, JD finally, he had a new wife, he had a new kid, he had a house, and they were together for like 7 or 8 years by then. Things are going well. And I'm like, okay, like his life is moving on, he's working, whatever. Well, it comes out that he got arrested linked to a case where 3 women got sexually assaulted and raped and different ways and stuff and robbed. And I'm like, what? JD? Like, no way. What are you talking about? He's like, it's not conviction. He's just linked to this case. We'll see what happens. Me and him talked about it, whatever. So I call Jose and tell Jose, dude, what's going on? Cause I'm not in Kentucky, so I don't have the access to everybody, Yeah. So I start calling folks and seeing what's happening and stuff, and people that, hung around us. We got pictures with this guy in front of the Arch in Reno on New Year's, like 30 of us just all, we're very close, Well, apparently I can read you here. It says they nicknamed him the Clover Leaf Rapist. So over on 80 going to Reno from Sacramento, there's an exit. I think it's not Madison. It might be Madison or right before Madison on Watt, where it's shaped like a clover. There's 4 loops from that freeway to get on and get off the freeway, on and off ramps, right? So the nickname of the Clover Leaf Rapist. Apparently, it says here, the Clover Leaf Rapist is J.D. Wallace Simeon, a man convicted of a serious violent sexual assaults committed in Sacramento County between 2013 and 2014. On February 2025, he was sentenced to 82 years to life in prison. 82 years, my homie. And he was, and at that time,
how old do you think he was when he got that sentence?
41, 42. Or when he got arrested. So the case went cold for years. It says the arrest. The case went cold for years. And in 2021, detectives used an investigative genetic genealogy and DNA technology to identify the arrest. So what happened to my knowledge, is that his uncle or his brother, somebody put in a genealogy test and the DNA popped linked to those sexual assaults because the cops used
Oh, crap.
sexual, the kits they use to test the women when they
Yeah,
come
yeah,
in
yeah,
for
yeah.
that. Well, anyway, so they hit his uncle or brother, or whoever, up, and obviously he's not him, but so they started looking at his family. Well, the sketch artist is in Sacramento. If you look at the sketch artist that these women provided, it looks like spot on JD. Glasses, kind of. I mean, he's a thicker black dude, looks like a Ninja Turtle. I mean, that's what describes him. And if any of y'all want to go look on Google to look up the sketches, you can. But so this happened in 2021. It said Simeon attacked 3 women near locations like the Interstate 80 and Madison Avenue interchange. The assaults involved kidnapping, strangulation, physical violence, and forcible sexual assault. So I think there was a knife involved in one time. And I mean, he's a big dude. So I mean, he's grabbing these girls and tossing them in the bushes over there. They got all those bushes by the freeway and stuff, like those vines and shit. What is that stuff called?
Oleander and shit like
Yeah,
that.
they're super poisonous or something. Anyway, but always grows. So they use that a lot next to the freeways. So at the time, I'm calling everybody and we're talking about it. And there's actually a video you can see on YouTube of him in court in 2024 that I have not seen yet. And I'm going to watch when this is over. I didn't, because last time I looked, there wasn't any, there were some news articles. It was very quiet for a long time. So when this happened, 2020, 2021, we found out, we'd go look, we could see he was booked and he was in jail, but there was no updates on anything, there was no, and at this time, his wife is getting bombarded by the news. You've seen pictures of his house on the news, his kids. I mean, they
That's
had
hella sad.
It's super sad because his wife, this says 2013, 2014. So he obviously met her right after all this stuff happened. And then 7 years of being together and having a kid. His kid's probably like 4 or 5 at the time, whatever, or 3 maybe. Boom, she got hit with all this and his family. And they're like, he's innocent. No, they have all the belief in the world. JD's that kind of guy. You would never think in a million years that something like this would happen.
Yeah.
But that's why I kind of wanted to bring it up, because I want some engagement from people to let us know, like, have you ever had a friend go off the rails and do some crazy things that you did not think was possible or they weren't capable of, and how careful you need to be? Because I mean, I work with a guy who was,
or I guess you could say like somebody who had a secret life,
a secret life or
like someone like, because I mean that's wild, bro. Like I don't.
That's beyond wild. That's like that story. That's what I wanted to share. It is something that
it's definitely left field stuff, especially when it's somebody you've known for a substantial amount of time, and like
super close
with. They say things like that, or impulses like he might have you don't really know if it ever really stopped, because that's like a bird's got to fly kind of thing. And it's, that's some crazy stuff.
Now that I look back on it in retrospect and being older, because you got to remember, I was in my early 20s at this time, no kids. Yeah. I mean, I was married, but Cheryl would be working at Cheesecake bartending, and I would go out on bike night because she was busy. So I'm going to have fun because I worked a regular 9 to 5 job or 8 to 3, whatever. Anyway, he was always like joking sexually or hitting on girls that were too hot for him. And he would have that frustration of the girls that would want to date him because he was overweight. He was, mediocre job. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that, but he would shoot for those 10s, those 9s and 10s when he was in a 5 or 4s level. And the girl he settled down with was an overweight white girl. I mean, I'm not saying that that's a stereotype, but it happened. And so he finally found somebody that wanted to be with him. And I think the frustration of him trying to get with the girl, because the whole time I knew him, he never had a legit girlfriend. He had tons of girls that were his friends. He called them besties, and, he was friends with hot girls. He was in that friend bubble all the time. And I think that frustration,
that friend zone.
He was in that friend zone because he was shooting, he's shooting for the moon and not getting.
That's why they say stay in your lane kind of stuff. But still, though, I mean, that's still no excuse.
Yeah. Oh gosh, God no. God, you should never put your hands on a girl.
There is no excuse
unless she's asking for it. But I mean, asking for it, like literally asking for it. Not you make me a sandwich. She said no. You pop her. I'm not saying nothing like that.
Oh my God.
I'm just saying what he did was, and now that he's convicted, it's, I never talked about it outside of until his conviction happened, because you don't presume innocent.
You never know.
There could be some crazy. It was so strong of a case that you never thought. I was like, dude, there's got to be some kind of mistake, something. But once I seen the sketches of these from 3 different women, and they were, I mean, it's JD. And if you go look at these sketches and you see a picture of him from his Facebook or from him in court, you'll be like, yeah, that was obviously him. So the evidence was really overwhelming for people who knew him. But, I feel sorry for his family. I feel sorry for our whole friend group. And, you gotta be careful. Me with my daughter, I vet folks is to my best of my abilities. I don't want to keep her in a cage and say, no, you can't have, she's 14 right now. So it's that, can I go to the pool with my friend? It's a closed off private pool. And, boys might be running around. That's my worst fear, but not random strangers are allowed to come in and go. And there's a person sitting there literally watching kids go in and out. It's different, Do I let her walk around the mall by herself? I'd let her go to a store, but I'm watching. I'm scanning. I'm visually aware.
We don't relinquish the responsibility of ourselves to anyone, bro. Not
a
security guard, not a police officer, no one, man. Like head on a swivel, always aware. Especially this day and age with, not trying to get political with it, but like everything that's going on with the country, immigration, things like that, people that are coming here from other places and their norms that aren't our norms and what they, their preferences on things, you hear about that stuff, you hear about those things. So it's just another thing to be aware of, making you more diligent on your end.
Sacramento also was like, and this is a whole big reason why we moved, man. When I moved here, violent crime was 54%.
Yeah,
here it was 12. Sacramento was one of the largest sex trafficking places in the United States. And rings were getting
here in Reno, bro. When I first moved out here, watching the news in the morning before work, bro, they would run that list on the news with the mug shots of like people that got like all walks of life. It isn't just like scummy dudes. It's all walks of life, man.
I told Sarah,
it's like that's crazy.
When COVID happened and the riots were happening, fires were happening, and this old lady got 4 dudes, broke in her house, and, I'm not going to throw the race up here or anything like that, but they beat her with her husband with a 2x4. She was like 60 or 70 years old, raped her, and like, this is Sacramento. Yeah, dude. Yeah. I mean, horrible things. And I'm just
awful, man.
Thank God I'm here, like, this is why I'm here with my kids. Cause I was lucky enough to be able to take this job and move and take them out of a situation. And Sacramento used to be, it's beautiful. I love it. There's nice areas.
California is beautiful.
Yes.
The California is beautiful.
Just all the politics in California right
politics,
now. They're
God forbid somebody have a gun to defend themselves,
we went to Chico, and Chico was like a different world. We grew up there, it's like a different world right now. It's not the same.
But even out in Chico, stuff was popping off. People were crazy and weird stuff.
Well, just now, that kid that went into the
college town and stuff with the
last year, the kid went into was it earlier this year?
It was earlier this year, the library?
The library, yeah. He went in.
Yeah, kid went in there, shot it up.
Killed a guy, killed another kid, injured some other people, and killed himself.
Yeah. That's
the cops killed him. I can't remember. You never know. Gotta be careful, man. You gotta be careful. Hayden will stay. And the weird thing is like sometimes Hayden will have friends come over to my house, and they'll be like, yeah, can so-and-so stay the night? I'm like, do I know their parents? Did they talk to us? They don't know their parents like that. They said it's cool they could stay the night. And I'm just like, what? Obviously nothing's going to happen to their kid because I'm super diligent, but dude, you don't know me. Like let me talk to her dad, let me talk to her mom and, hi, I'm Alex. I work here. My wife works there. I might not be here this evening. I might be out at the plant working, she'll be home with my wife and my 7-year-old son. Mm-hmm. Hayden's going to stay the night somewhere. Who's going to be there? Who is all going to be there? Oh, well, it's just going to be her dad, her mom, her sister's 18-year-old boyfriend might be over. Nope. Well, her sister's brother's 15. He plays on the football. Nope.
No.
Exactly. We had this talk yesterday. She's like, Allie invited me to stay over, but I told her, I asked who was there, and she's like, yeah, she's staying over at her mom. Her parents were separated or something. Staying over at her mom's and not her dad's, but her brother's going to be there. I was like, how old's her brother? She's like, 15. I was like, is he a weirdo? She's like, no, he plays baseball and plays football on the football team. I'm like, nope, you're not staying over there.
Right, nah, bro.
Fucking Rico Suave over there and shit. I'm on the football team.
He reads comics and watch a lot of anime. You're like, okay.
Okay. He's a little goth, he dresses weird, funky.
Bro. Yeah, right. Nah, man, like, that's the thing, man.
I'm joking, but you got to be serious and you got to pay attention. You have to.
And here's a little tidbit about our past too. Like we grew up with our mom working in child protective
for 17 years.
Child protective services for a long time. So we've always been very aware of these things, like stranger danger. I don't know you, weirdo dude. Like, and I was just telling a friend about that today. Like growing up with that kind of engagement with mom and her background and the things that she would we learned from her and the stuff we were wary of, like
It's not
as
like
an
we were over
adult,
there
I
reading her
pick up
case
on
files,
weirdo
but
stuff. I
she's
pick up
talking
on
on the
weirdo
phone to
stuff.
work, or the cops are calling her to come remove a child
Yeah,
from a
man.
home.
Like
Like we
it,
saw all that stuff. I didn't know he was like that. This how many stories? Unc shouldn't have touched me like that. Like you never know. I got a whole nother story about the guy that used to compete on our base teams, and we'll cover that at
yeah,
a different time. Where he got busted for a whole child pornography and stuff, and that's a whole
dude,
different
man,
story. And
it's
he was at
everywhere,
every
bro.
base
It's rugged.
competition. He was just but we'll touch on that story next time, just
Yeah,
for something
let
else.
us definitely know though if you have some kind of interesting encounter like that with friend, family member, if you feel comfortable about talking about it, or just want to like give us a little glossary or something. We would love to to touch back on it like other stuff in our videos, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. If you have any questions, man, drop them, man. I'd love to answer some
Oh yeah.
questions. And this is not the. I don't want to say this is a fun topic, but this is definitely an engaging topic
It,
on
and what was
things
what
you can
was
learn from, man. Especially if you're a young father or a younger dude and you ain't got that male role model in your life. I mean, talk to
what
people
was
who have the
the case
experience.
name of it? What was they called this dude in the paper?
They call he Clover Leaf Rapist in
Yeah,
Sacramento,
so
California.
if you want to definitely check it out, look that up on Google. I'm
Yeah,
sure you can see
yeah,
everything and
I got
stuff. And
pictures with this guy. I mean, he's been in my house. I mean, around my wife. I mean, that's how
that's
close we all
crazy,
were.
bro. That's
You
how
know,
dare you?
that's
How
nutty,
dare you?
right? I'm
But
telling you, dude. You never know.
all right, till next time,
All right,
everyone.
till next time.